fluency, your pronunciation, and yeah. So fluency is one of those, and many people suffer with this area. And I will dive into this topic more in order to just understand how we can be more fluent. So let's discuss the problems that we usually have when we are speaking and why we suffer in our fluency while speaking. So first of all, when we try to speak quickly, we usually think that is fluency. Fluency is not the speed. It doesn't matter how quickly you speak, it doesn't matter how slowly you speak. What matters is that how you get your point across, or maybe how you casually speak or with just calmly. If you can speak calmly and smoothly with lower pace, then it's called fluency. It doesn't have anything to do with quick or speed. So do not try to be very quick or try to be very speedily, speak very speedily. Try to just calm yourself, breathe, take small pauses, and this is the solution that you can opt. So listen to the native speakers and try to copy their pace of speech. You will see that they do not speak very quickly. If some of the speakers do speak very quickly, but in IELTS exam, your fluency doesn't mean that it should be really quick. So try to try to speak with a calmer pace where you can speak clearly and examiner can understand what you're trying to say. So keep it in your mind that fluency has nothing to do with your quick speed. So next is trying to think of ideas. Okay, when we try to think of ideas, our fluency suffers. And why does that happen? It's because when we continuously thinking about the best idea, if you wanna, make the examiner amazed, or maybe you wanna impress the examiner that you have come up with a very intelligent idea, or maybe you have such a good knowledge of this particular topic, and while thinking about that thing, your fluency will suffer. So do not try to think of ideas which sound very good, or which give the impression that you're very intelligent, because it's not a knowledge test. It's about how easily and how smoothly and calmly you can communicate your ideas. So what you should do is to not worry about the quality of your ideas. Just focus on the quality of your speech. Just try to converse, try to give your idea. Don't think of the quality. Next is not having a strong structure. Yeah. So the structure problem usually occurs when we are in part two. In part two, what happens is that we just start our story abruptly and end it suddenly. Do not have any starting point, the middle point, or the ending. If you don't have these things in a clear, positive manner, then your fluency will suffer. So, if you wanna sound fluent in part two, you should what you should do is try to talk about general topic and follow the structure. You know, I told you people about the structure of part two in detail in yesterday's lecture. First of all, you should introduce the topic, give 20 seconds to give the background about the topic, and give your main idea, how you are going to take it. And next, try to give your stance, your reflection, or maybe your conclusion. So once your answer has a clear structure, then you can easily make it fluent. So try to use this structure while practicing at home or talking to a friend. Next, focusing too much on grammar and vocabulary. Yes, I know that 50% of our test is based on grammar and vocabulary. 25% marks come from grammar and 25% come from vocabulary. Yeah. But if you focus on these two things too much, what will happen? Your fluency will suffer. So you cannot focus on these two things in a way that the fluency, the 25 marks and marks of fluency will go away. So don't focus on grammar too much while speaking. So what is the solution? Because we usually do that while speaking. We usually focus on me, did I use this tense or not, whether I use the past or present. We usually ask this question in our brain, although we don't say it out loud, but we are used to doing this, and therefore our fluency suffers. So what's the solution? First of all, try to record yourself. What you will do, take two questions. In the first recording, you will focus on your grammar and on your vocabulary too much and record yourself. Then, in the second question, you will just speak fluently. You will not worry about the grammar. You will not think of any tense, past, present, or future. Maybe you will not think of an appropriate word of vocabulary that fits best in the situation. Just speak for 1 minute without worrying about anything. Just say whatever comes to your mind. Do not think of the fancy idea, the best vocabulary word, or the best grammar that suits in the situation. Once you do that, try to listen back. Listen to your first recording and second recording. Then you will know that although you made grammar mistake in the second recording, there were grammar mistake and some vocabulary mistake, but the overall effect that it makes is way better than just hesitating and taking long pauses to try to find the best fancy word or maybe using the right grammar structure. So do not force yourself to think of the best word or the right grammar structure. This way your fluency is gonna suffer a lot. So, if when you do that, try to ask yourself which one sounds better. Do not think of vocabulary or grammar. Ask yourself which one sounds better. Does the perfect answer, which has no grammar issue, no problem, no vocabulary mistake, you're using the perfect vocabulary, your grammar structures are spot on, but there are a lot of hesitations. There are a lot of ums and ahs, and you're just taking long pauses, and then compare it with the other recording that you did, and here you will find some grammar mistakes. Yes, there will be some inappropriate usage of words. Maybe you did not use the right vocabulary, but overall when you listen to the second recording, you will find that the overall effect of the second recording is much better. It sounds good, although there are some mistakes. So in this way, you will know that focusing too much on grammar and vocabulary will not help you get good bands. They will make you suffer. Okay, so when you, for example, if you're thinking of trying to do this particular exercise at home or activity at home, you can ask yourself these questions. Describe your favorite food. And this is your question number one. Next is describe your best friend. Describe a teacher you remember. Describe your favorite place. These are the things that you can speak. These are the topics which are very personal to everyone, and you can easily talk about these topics in a fluent way in a minute. So try to ask yourself these questions. Record yourself in two ways. In first way, you will be taking a lot of care while speaking. You will be using the correct grammar structure, the right tense. You will be using the most appropriate vocabulary. And in the second one, when you're describing your friend, you will just go on. You will just speak. You will just be yourself without worrying about any grammar, any vocabulary word, then compare. So when you will compare, you will automatically say that the second recording sounds much better, much good than the earlier one, although it had no grammar and vocabulary issues. Okay, so there is an example that I have just demonstrated here. Anybody who will be just okay. So what I will do is I will say this paragraph out loud, and if any one of you who could just stop me in the middle of paragraph and tell me the grammar mistake I have made, anybody who can do that as a volunteer, just stop me when while I will be saying the sentence out loud. You just have to stop me and you have to tell me that I have made this particular mistake. Ma'am
Okay,
Sumbal,
ma'am.
will you do that?
Yes, yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
okay. Let's do it. Do it. Okay. Wait a minute. I'm going to describe my favorite food. Okay. So, ma'am, when I will make a mistake, you will stop me right there and you will tell me this is the right way to correct your grammar. Okay.
Okay.
My favorite food are biryani
Ma'am,
because
here I think is biryani.
yes, because it have very delicious taste
It
and strong.
has, because it
Okay.
has very delicious taste.
Mhm. I usually eating biryani with my family
I
in
usually
weekend.
eat biryani.
Okay, okay.
Yes,
When we go outside, the rice mixed with chicken and many spices which make the food very amazing. Sometimes I also add raita because it make the taste more
it
better.
makes it
Mhm.
makes
Okay. When I was a child, I eat biryani in many weddings, and since that time, it become my favorite dish.
it
In my opinion,
became
yes, yes, yeah, it became. In my opinion, biryani is one of the best food in the world, and everyone should try it at least one times.
one time, not
Okay,
one
okay,
time.
yeah, yeah. All right. So what Ma'am Sumbul did here is something that we do with our mind. Like when I was speaking, I will stop and correct myself. This particular thing that Ma'am Sumbal did here is something that we usually practice while speaking. You people must have noticed that I didn't sound natural. My sound was breaking. It wasn't a fluent speech because I was interrupted, right? So when we are interrupted while speaking and correcting ourselves over and over again, then the speech looks very bad. It doesn't look fluent. So if I had to say it without the interruption of Ma'am Sumbal, I would say it like this. With all these mistakes, I would say it like this. My favorite food are biryani because it have very delicious taste and strong spices. I usually eating biryani with my family in weekend when we go outside. The rice mixed with chicken and many spices which make the food very amazing. Sometimes I also add raita because it makes the taste more better. When I was a child, I eat biryani in many weddings, and since that time, it became my favorite dish. In my opinion, biryani is one of the best food in the world, and everyone should try it at least one times. So judge it, judge both speeches, and tell me which one sounds better. First one was the best speech because I corrected myself. There was no grammar issue, there was no vocabulary issue. However, in the second speech, I spoke fluently with a lot of grammar mistakes. So tell me, what do you think? Which one is better? Which one sounds better? Tell me. Maybe you can comment in the chat or unmute yourself and tell me which one sounds better, the first one or the second one. Come on, nobody is going to say anything. Okay, no worries. Let me just ask you people randomly. Okay. Sorry, say it again.
I think the second one sounds better.
Yeah. So Sir Abdullah says that is saying that the second one sounds better, although it has many grammar mistakes. There were some, like in every sentence, there were almost two grammar mistakes. But when you listen to a speech as a whole, it leaves a good impression, right? However, if you just interrupt yourself over and over again, and there are many, you're just correcting yourself, you're just stopping yourself and just thinking of the right structure, then your fluency will suffer. So once your fluency suffers, it leaves a very bad impression on the examiner. So the purpose of this activity was to demonstrate you people how our fluency suffers when we think, or we are so much worried about the correct grammar or the right structure. But what's wrong? It gets stuck sometime. Let me, come on, okay. Yeah. So yeah, the next thing that is the reason of low fluency score is not enough practice. So many students have good vocabulary, good grammar, and I'm sure and I believe that all the participants in this session have good grammar and vocabulary. The only thing that is lacking is the less practice. They are not doing enough practice so that it becomes natural to them to speak at length or speak naturally. So the biggest reason that I think is the practice. We don't practice at all. So if like we talk about programming, for example, if you learn how to program and you just listen to some lectures, like on iCodeGuru, we have some sessions on I Python programming. If you just listen to all those lectures and you don't practice, what will happen? Will you be able to produce the? Will you be able to learn the skill? Will you be able to perform it in a better way and during your hackathons? The answer is no. Why? Because you don't practice them. So when we don't practice anything, be it coding, programming, speaking, writing, cooking, anything, if you don't practice any of the skill, you cannot perform it in a better way. So the key to perform in a better way is to practice, practice, and practice, because it makes perfect. It can make your speech perfect. Okay, let's move on. Trying not to add ums and ahs. Okay, so first of all, I would say ums and ahs are the filler words that we usually use, not we, the native speakers usually use to communicate their ideas. They just use it while thinking. I can demonstrate it like this. My favorite food is I guess it's biryani. See, what I did here was I used just to think of an idea. But I didn't say it, do it frequently. Like I cannot say it. My favorite food. I guess it's biryani. Yeah. So in this sentence, I use ums and ahs, the filler words, a lot. So there is a balance. Do not focus on it a lot. Just when you frequently use them, these filler words, ums and ahs, it will break your fluency. However, if you totally omit or skip ums and ahs, then it also doesn't sound natural. It also doesn't sound conversational. So, in order to make your speech sound more conversational, try to use and ahs just like native speakers do. They usually use them while thinking and they don't use it frequently. So, there should be a balance. Okay. But if you just constantly forcing yourself, I am not going to use any or ah in my speech, it will impact your speech. Because we are wired to make mistakes, we are wired to make those mistakes that we just try to neglect them. For example, if I ask you people to do not think of elephants for 2 seconds, don't think about elephants for 2 seconds. What first thing that comes to your mind? You will be thinking about elephants. Yes, that's we're wired this way. That's how we usually function. So do not force yourself that you are not going to use ums and ahs. Because when we force ourselves to not do anything, we usually repeat that mistake. We usually do that thing occasionally. So don't force yourself. For example, if you have a little child at your home and you say him that don't touch my hair. So what that child will do? He will just constantly touch your hair. We're wired this way. So don't force. I'm not going to say any ums and ahs right now, and don't force this. Just try to balance. Try to keep it doing like just practice a lot, and when you practice a lot, these ums and ahs and hesitation will go away. It's just the matter of practice, it's just the matter of time. Forcing yourself will not help you, it will make it worse. Okay, next is, I'm sorry, it gets stuck. Okay, yeah. So, yes, I have talked about stress a lot of times. It is one of the things that also impacts our fluency. So, when you're nervous, you're stressed out during the test, your fluency will suffer. You will be making mistakes that you are not used to making, that you usually don't make at all. I can give my example. I went to a place, yeah, there was an interview, and I was pretty nervous. The interviewer asked me the question, and the question was so easy. I knew the answer like the back of my hand, but I couldn't say the right answer because I was nervous, stressed out. I was forcing myself that I have to give a correct answer. So when you force yourself a lot, you're nervous and stressed out, you're wired to making mistake. You will make a lot of mistakes. So try to calm yourself, do not stress over things, or maybe don't think a lot how the examiner is going to ask me the question, or maybe it's going to be very bad. Do not do that. So the next is contractions. Okay, so there is a comparison, and I would say if you compare your writing with your speaking, in writing, the contraction is considered a grammar mistake. For example, when we speak, we say, I can't do it. Can't is the contraction of cannot. So while speaking, the contraction is considered good. However, when you're writing an essay, the contraction is considered a mistake. So keep it in your mind. You cannot write contractions while writing. It is a mistake. However, when you speak and make contractions of the word, then you sound more natural and fluent. So when we listen to native speakers, they usually use contraction words and they do it frequently, like in everyday conversation. So while speaking, try to add contractions in your speech. It will sound more fluent, it will sound more natural, but do not do this while writing. Okay. Contractions, there are different kind of contractions. First is be. Be is a form of verb, I am, and you can contract it like this, am. You are, you can say that you're doing great. He is a full form, and you can say it like this, his my best friend. She is a full form, and in contraction you can say it like this, his, she's very kind. And instead of it is, you can say it's, we are, we're going to eat later. They are, you can contract it like this, they're coming tonight. Instead of saying that they are coming tonight, you can say it like this, they're coming tonight. So this is how we contract the be words. Next is have. I hope you guys are familiar with this. You've have tried that food. You have can be like this, you've done well today. We've already eaten the dinner. And instead of saying they have, you can say it like this, they've visited that restaurant. He has can be contracted like this, has eaten there before. And likewise, she has. Okay, so there is a contraction of will. We use ILL and skip the sound of W. So you can say that I'll try that dish. You'll enjoy this food. He'll cook tonight. She'll bring dessert. We'll go together. They'll arrive soon. So it's very easy. When you contract will, you just omit this W and add the L sound with your subject. Okay, the next is negative. Not is don't, sorry, and doesn't is does not is doesn't. I hope you all are aware of this. Haven't, hasn't, can't, won't, shouldn't, wouldn't. Next is very native. Yeah, this sounds very natural. I'm going to Karachi. Instead of that, I can say this, I'm gonna go to Karachi. Wanna. I want to I want to drink water. Instead of saying this, I can say it like this, I want to drink water. Kind of. Okay. If I describe my friend like this, my friend is kind of weird, or maybe my friend is kind of an honest girl. I can say it like this, my friend is kinda an honest girl. Kinda is a short form of kind of. These, the number five contraction is very common. Native speakers usually say this while conversing in their daily conversation. So try to use these contractions. Sort of, this is new for me, sorta. And let me is lemmy. They just skip this T. Let me just turn off the audio. Let me just turn off the light. And in give me, native speakers usually omit this we and they say, give me your phone. This way you can easily do contractions, and when you contract the words, you sound way more natural than the others. So do not try to contract your words in the written exam. Just do this while practicing and speaking English. Okay, I have, yeah, I have spoken a lot, and I guess I have completed everything. Yeah. If you people have any question or you're willing to take a mock test, please raise your hands. If you're not willing to take a mock test, we can end this meeting then. Yeah, Sir Abdullah, you have raised your hand. Okay, give me a second. Sir Abdullah, do you have any question or you're here to take a mock test?
I want to take a mock test. And am I audible? Because last time I have problems with my mic.
Yeah, you're audible, but just try to speak louder so that I can tell you, I can listen to
Uh,
you properly.
I think
Mm-hmm.
there is an issue with my mic. If I'm speaking louder, but I think it's broke down. But if I rotate it a little bit, it start working. So I'm not sure if you are if you can hear me clearly or not. Am I audible?
Okay. Sir Abdullah, try to speak again.
Can you hear me?
Okay. Yeah, please try to speak again so that I can tell you whether you're audible or not.
I'm speaking right now, so I'm not sure
Yeah,
if
yeah,
you
yeah.
are.
Okay. Um, so I can take a mock test of part one since it is short. Okay. Part one. Sir, are you ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Did you enjoy your childhood?
Yes, definitely. I enjoy my childhood a lot because as a kid, I was very energetic. So I used to enjoy my games. I used to play outside a lot, and I remember the time when my moms come out because I was too busy playing games outside, and I forget to do my lunch. So my mom came out to get me back to the
Mm-hmm.
home. So I was very
Uh,
uh,
wait a minute. I'm just interrupting you. Sir, basically, part one questions are not supposed to be very long. Just try to speak for 25 to 30 seconds, not more than that.
uh,
You know
I
what I'm
think
saying?
think my mic is
Okay.
again disturbing.
Okay. Did you
Can you hear me?
understand what I said earlier?
Yes, I can listen to you, but I think my mic just uh, out,
Mm-hmm.
got out of order in sometimes between the talks.
No worries. No worries. Okay. The next question is, what is your first memory of your childhood?
The first memory in my childhood was the first day of my school. It was very interesting day because there was no study or teaching that day. It was just a fun. We have the toys, the cycles, and different kind of toys in our classroom on the first day. So that was a very amazing day for me.
Okay. The next question is, what did you enjoy doing as a child?
Uh, I enjoyed a lot of things being a child, but the most of it was playing games, and
Mhm.
I used to play cricket a lot. So, as a child, the most memory I have enjoyed is playing outside, and the game is was the cricket.
Okay. So that's the end of part one. You spoke really well, although there was some mic issues. However, when I just focused, it was good. you tried really good. And yeah, as I said earlier, don't focus on grammar too much. But when I tell you people mistakes you people are making right now, this will help you correct yourself. So don't take it as if as a contradiction to my lecture. As I said earlier, you can speak fluently with some grammar mistake, but don't focus while speaking. Just tell yourself, okay, I make these mistakes and I will try not to make them, but just don't try so hard or worry too much to make those mistakes. Okay,
Yes,
so
ma'am. So I will really appreciate like your honest feedback. So I'll be giving my test in 2 or 3 weeks. So I will really appreciate if you point out my mistakes, so I will know where I am standing right now.
yeah, sure. Yeah, once you said the most memory where you had to say this, the most enjoyable memory or the good memory. After most, you should have added some adjective that could make it sound better. And there was an instance where you said we have, and you were stating something in the past, and you had to say we had, right? Okay, and yeah, there was an instance when you said comes, and since you were stating something in the past, you had to say came, and that's it. You made these mistakes. These were grammar mistakes, and you were fluent. You were explaining your idea in a way that was understandable. It was clear, and you didn't have any pronunciation issue, fluency issue. And I would suggest to speak daily, like we are having mock test daily. Try to show up and speak daily. This will help you remove your hesitation, and try to record yourself, and every day when you show up, you will feel more confident, and hopefully you will get really good bands in your exam, inshallah. So do you have any question? No? Okay. Is there anybody who's willing to take a mock test? Anyone? No? Okay, ma'am Sumbal.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Let me find some questions for you. Then I will ask you some part one questions. Okay. So, ma'am Sumbal, do you family?
Ma'am,
These are
your
part of
voice is
questions.
breaking. Can you repeat that again?
Yeah, why not? Do you spend much time with your family?
Yes, as I am a housewife, so I mostly stay at home with my family members, and I take care of all of them in my daily routine.
Okay. Who are you closer to in your family?
I am really close to my mother because she helped me a lot in my difficult situation, and she helped me, and she even motivated me to counter the difficult time in my life. And yes, I really lucky to have her in my life.
Okay. The next question is, do you prefer spending time with your family or friends?
I usually prefer to spend time with my family members because and they are my support system, and they always show up in my difficult time, and I feel very fulfilled and very fulfilled and lucky to have them in my life. So I prefer to spend as much time as possible with my family, as I in the past I spent my lot of time in university and in hostel. So now I prefer to spend my most time with my family.
Okay. Who is your best friend?
Uh, my best friend is to whom I met in my university, and she actually live in my city, and we often visit each other place in the weekend, and she really helped me a lot in my university days. So she is my best friend. Her name is Sabajimi.
Okay. Are you still friend with people from your childhood?
Yes, I still have my friendship with my childhood friends, and we even visit each other place sometimes, and we share daily routines with each other our on social media apps. So even we share each other picture, and we stay in connect with each other still now.
Okay. Is family important in your country?
Yes, family is really important in my country because family give us a sense of purpose in our life, and they motivate us in our difficult time, and they also provide us a financial support in our difficult situation, and that is why everyone prefer live in family and have family in my country.
Okay. So part one questions are ended. You did really well. Well done. And yeah, you were fluent. There were very minor hesitations that we usually have while speaking, and there was no pronunciation issue, no fluency issue. Although you did make some grammar mistake, and in my lecture I told you people it's okay to make the mistakes. Um, you should just speak to demonstrate your idea. But if you really wanna get very good bands, try to lower your grammar mistakes, but that shouldn't suffer your fluency. So you cannot lower your grammar mistake at the expense of fluency. Fluency should be there, but do try to make minor grammar mistake or maybe very few mistakes so that they don't impact your answer on the exam day. Okay, so would you like to listen to those mistakes, grammar mistakes?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So you said that your mother, when you were talking about your mother, you said she helped when you had to say helps, and you did the same thing with motivate, where you had to say motivates. I very lucky to have, and you had to say I am very lucky to have. So you just skipped am, and I know that you don't have any grammar issue. It was only because you're not practicing. So once you practice, you will know that you will not make these mistakes. So the solution is only practice. The next is, you when you were describing about your friend, you said she live in your city, where you had to say she lives. So instead of live, you should say lives. Next is, yeah, so you were saying that your friend helped you in the past when you were in the university. So when we describe something in past, we use the second form of verb. So you had to say helped instead of saying help.
Yes,
Yeah,
ma'am. Okay.
yeah. That's all. They were
Okay.
not very major grammar mistakes. These are very minor mistakes that you can easily tackle or handle by just practicing, practicing, and practicing.
Okay, ma'am.
That's all from my side. If you have any question, you can ask me.
Okay, ma'am. No, ma'am, I don't have any question, and thank you so much for your feedback. I really work on my subject verb agreement from now.
Yeah, no worries. Is there anybody who's willing to take a mock test, or we just end this session? If you're willing to take a mock test, just raise your hand. I guess nobody's willing. Ma'am Juveria, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah, ma'am. I have completed the lecture. Please end the meeting since nobody has any question. Oh, wait. Okay, yeah. Yeah, please end the meeting.
Okay.
No worries, ma'am Sumbul. Thank you for joining. Sir Kudrat, your first day, yeah. So do join us tomorrow as